All right, here we are. We are going through the New Testament in a year with our daily fuel. And we've been, if you've been following us daily or trying to follow us daily, we've been messed up. There was this, I don't think it was I think it was an Amazon World Service server meltdown that affected a lot of people that were, what do you call it? Platforms. And so we're on a few different platforms, a few smaller ones, and they were affected. So I think you can still find everything on the website, I think, and maybe on Facebook or whatever, or maybe YouTube, I don't know. But we had some trouble, no doubt about it. So hopefully we're past that and we're back on a daily schedule, I think. So we're in chapter 5, 1 Timothy. And this is the Apostle Paul writing to a young pastor. And so you get to go inside of what happens in an elders meeting. You get to go inside of what happens in a church board meeting. You get to go inside of what happens when the pastors and the leadership talk together. What do they talk about? And what kinds of solutions do they have? And what kinds of issues do they have? So, let's go to the staff meeting. Ready to go in? Let's go in. We're going to the staff meeting. Here's the staff pastors. We've been meeting together. We have some things going on, and there's all kinds of issues going on in the congregation. Loads of them. So let's talk about some of them. So he writes to Timothy, and he says, don't rebuke an older man harshly. Good advice. You know what I mean? Like, don't, older men can be wrong about a lot of things. And older men tend to think that they're right about things because they have experience and because they've seen things. They've seen a lot of water go into the bridge. But, don't do it harshly. But exhort him as though he were your father. So treat him like your dad. Dad, why do you do that? I don't understand why you do that. Why do you say it like that? And then what do you do with the younger guys? Lord it over them and bully them. No, not at all. Treat the younger men as brothers. So treat the older guys like fathers and treat the younger guys like brothers. This really is a family. And I've been thinking lately, when we say church, it brings up all kinds of connotations, particularly of buildings and gathering times and all those sort of things. But it's really our spiritual family. It's our spiritual family. We have regular families, we have spiritual families, we have work families, we have play families, and we have teams, all those things. So it's a spiritual family. Treat the older guys like their dads. They can be wrong, but, and the younger guys, they're wrong all the time. So, older women, treat them like you would treat your mom. And younger women as sisters with absolute purity. So, you can't go after the girls, particularly if you're in ministry of any type. You're not supposed to be going after the girls. And you need to treat them like sisters. This is one of the things that led me to Christ when there was this girl, Susan Brooks was her name at the time, and the guys that were with her were very respectful of her. And it wasn't the way that a lot of my friends treated women, and it spoke volumes to me. Give proper recognition to the widows who are really in need. There are widows among us, and so give recognition to them. But if a widow has children or grandchildren, these should learn first to put all of their religion into practice by caring for their own family and so repaying their parents and their grandparents, for this is pleasing to God. So now we're at the staff meeting and we're going to talk about our benevolent strategy. What do? We got some people among us that are poor. We got some people among us that are struggling. We got some people among us who their husbands have died. What are we supposed to do? And it says, well, let the kids take care of mom. Let the grandkids take care of their grandparents. This is a beautiful thing, family. Family has become so distant with us all living in separate houses on opposite coasts. And, this is a beautiful thing, taking care of your family. The widow who's really in need, because not everybody has all of these family resources, and is left all alone and puts her hope in God and continues night and day to pray and ask for God for help. But the widow who lives for pleasure is dead even while she lives. Well, this happens, right? A lot of ladies lose their husbands and now they're ready to go party. So, it's not our responsibility to, help them party. They need to get on with their lives and, maybe, remarry again. In the ancient culture, it'd be really important to maybe be remarried again, or to be busy, or to work, or to, contribute somehow, but not to just be on the receiving end and go out partying all the time. And it says, so give these people instructions so that no one will be open to blame. So give the people instructions, tell everybody what we're doing, create some policies, right? We're in a staff meeting right now, so let's create some policies. I like to say that policies don't discriminate. So you say, this is what we do, this is how we do it. And, we're not discriminating against somebody when they come and ask, because we already said this is how we do it. Anyone who doesn't provide for their relatives, and especially for their own household, is denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. So, if there are needs in your family and you're not taking care of them, it's bad news. This is pretty harsh, right? Because maybe some of us are in this kind of situation. In fact, I bet a lot of us are in this situation, and it's probably become more difficult in the 21st century than in the first century, just because of expenses and the way that things work, and because of lifespans going on so long. Very, very complicated issues. But we need to really be involved and do everything that we can do. Verse 9, no widow may be put on the list of widows unless she's over 60 and has been faithful to her husband. You don't want just anybody on there. And is well known for her good deeds, such as bringing up children, showing hospitality, washing the feet of the Lord's people, helping those in trouble, and devoting herself to all kinds of good deeds. So, those ladies that have been serving, those ladies that have been good, those good folk, those salts of the earth people, if they don't have any other help, then, the church needs to get involved. And I think that's what Paul's saying. And this is what we're saying in our staff meeting, right? That, we need to help those people. As for younger widows, don't put them on the list. For when their sensual desires overcome their dedication to Christ, how about that phrase? When their sensual desires overcome their dedication to Christ. Use your imagination. They want to marry, and thus they bring judgment on themselves because they've broken their first pledge. And so besides, they get into the habit of being idle and going about from house to house. And not only do they become idlers, but they become busybodies. They talk nonsense. They're saying things they shouldn't. So Paul said, I counsel the younger widows to marry, to have children, to manage their homes, to give the enemy no opportunity for slander. Some have, in fact, already turned away to follow Satan. So Paul's saying that's the advice that he gives. Is he telling Timothy that this is eternal advice that needs to happen in every single church? He's saying it's what he does, and he's saying to Timothy that he thinks is pretty good practice. Occasionally, Paul will say, this is what I'm saying and not the Lord. And I'm not sure in here, are these direct commands from God, or are they wise things that Paul is saying to Timothy in running a church? You need to decide that. If any woman is a believer, if any woman who is a believer has widows in her care, she should continue to help them and not let the church be burdened with them, so the church can help those widows who are really in need. There's only so many resources to go around. And the elders who direct the affairs of the church, are worthy of double honor, especially those whose work is preaching and teaching. So he's saying if you preach, if you teach, you're worthy of double honor. But he doesn't say give you double honor. He's talking, I think, about resources here, right? Payment or honorariums or taking care of them. And although they may be worthy of it, he doesn't say give it to them. Very wise. For the scripture says, don't muzzle the ox while he's treading out the grain, because the worker deserves his wages. So if somebody's giving up 60 hours a week to attend to the needs of the church, then compensate them. And don't entertain an accusation against an elder unless it's brought by 2 or 3 witnesses. So, people in leadership, people are always criticizing them. And a lot of times they criticize them because there's something to criticize them about. But he says, wait till you hear 2 or 3 people say it, because, people say a lot of things. And if 2 or 3 are saying it, then it's really worth following up. Probably something is happening there. Billy Graham used to say, whenever somebody's talking about us, he used to send out his team and he'd say, find out what they're saying, because there must be some truth in it. But those elders who are sinning, you should reprove before everyone so that others can take warning. So if the elders are sinning, tell everybody so the people will fear. I charge you in the sight of God and Jesus Christ and the elect angels, keep these instructions without partiality and do nothing out of favoritism. Don't be hasty in laying on of hands, ordaining people, and don't share in the sins of others. Keep yourself pure. Stop drinking water only. Use little wine for your stomach and your frequent illnesses. And the sins of some are obvious, reaching the place of judgment ahead of them. The sins of others trail off behind them. In the same way, good deeds are obvious, and even those that are not obvious can't remain hidden forever. Do good, be good, do the right thing, help everybody you can, whenever you can, wherever you can. Hey, bless you guys. Love you.